Wonderful Waddies, and welcome to the first full video of 2025. New year, new haircut. It was very scary getting this because my barber was freehanding the scissors right next to my ear. I thought she was going to turn me into Vincent van Gogh. But what is the first video of 2025? A design ranking, because of course it is. And we will be covering Adenia's traitor and Melina's beloved Tanya. For those who haven't seen the previous videos, let's reiterate the rules. The first rule is that I'll only be considering designs from Mortal Kombat games, which means no comics, movies, or cartoons, or any other game franchises this character may have made an appearance in. The second rule is that I will not be ranking any repeated or reused designs, which means no recreated classic costumes from the later games, or most of the costumes from Mortal Kombat Armageddon. The third rule is for Mortal Kombat 11 only, which Tanya is not in, so we can just skip that one. And the fourth and final rule is that I will not be ranking any designs from Mortal Kombat mobile games, only console releases, so that means treacherous Tanya from MK Mobile will not be making an appearance, even though it's pretty decent. It would be probably like top 8, something like that. So without further ado, let's get into Tanya's 13 designs. She has more than I thought. At number 13, we have the Mortal Kombat X design. Hey, what is that? No, wait! But we're not talking about the Combat Pack playable DLC Tanya, we're talking about the one from the base version of MKX from the story mode, NPC Tanya. Why? Because Tanya was whitewashed. Well, okay, maybe whitewashed is a bit of a stretch, but they definitely made her skin much lighter than it ever was in the previous games. Not as bad as Jade and MK Mobile, but enough for me to want to rank it at the bottom. It doesn't matter if it was the coolest design ever created, which you'll see with the actual MKX design where I rank that, but I'm still going to rank this one at the bottom spot, and this would apply to any other black character, Jax, Garrus, the previously mentioned Jade, and this design also gets rid of the white eyes, which is really lame. At number 12, I have the Chaos design from MK1. Thankfully, there's only one of these I have to talk about this time, and there's not much to say about it that I haven't said about these other really ugly, unfitting, and repetitive Chaos designs. Quite possibly the worst color palette you could choose for any sort of design. It literally looks like puke, plus a bunch of just other unappealing design choices that just make you question NRS's intentions, which is something we do very often nowadays. At number 11, I have the Union of Light design. Now, I get what they're going for here. In fact, a couple of Tanya's MK1 designs have this sort of sun-like crown, which represents her sun-like powers, but I just don't think it really does it for me. It makes Tanya look too much like royalty, whereas I've always kind of seen her as a lowlife that has manipulated her way to the top. She's not a princess or royal bodyguard like Katana or Jade, but they've revised her character in MK1, especially in this Union of Light version of her, for a bunch of reasons that could honestly be a whole nother video that I might actually make one day. At number 10, for similar reasons, I have the Order of Darkness Tanya. This is definitely better since it has the black markings and white eyes, which should be a part of every Tanya design, and it is an evil Tanya, which is more accurate to her character, but not only is this a bit over the top evil, remember Tanya should still be able to manipulate people without appearing blatantly like one of the bad guys. But it also still has that high-class, royal look to it. It looks like the evil queen in Snow White with the crown and hood she has, plus the armor, shoulder pads, and literal skull on her chest, which is just pushing it a bit. At number 9, I have the Brazil design from MK1. I don't usually like these gimmick skins, but I actually enjoy this one since it's one of Tanya's only designs in this game that is actually fun and interesting to look at. It doesn't represent her character very well, in fact, not at all, but it has bright colors and standout features that make me appreciate it more than the generic Order and Union designs. At number 8, I have the MK2 design from MK1. Firstly, this confirms that Tanya is a palette swap female ninja, and it's really weird when people try to say that she isn't and then don't explain why. Secondly, this design is slightly low just because it doesn't have that nostalgia factor the MK2 designs are supposed to have, plus her weapon along with this outfit looks a bit out of place, similar to Rain's staff with his MK 1995 or UMK3 design, just looks off to see these classic designs with these royal intricate weapons. But like the Brazil outfit, at least it's more interesting and stimulating to the eyes than the designs below it. At number 7, I have her alternates from MK4. This is just her default but with a skirt, sort of, and it's gray. The MK4 base design here still looks great, and even though I do think it's a downgrade, the skirt thing is an interesting choice. That would inspire much better evolutions of that sort of thing in later designs. But I really wish it wasn't gray. I understand adding the skirt probably wasn't enough to change it from the default, but surely there's something else they could have done, maybe a mask or a different hairstyle, but no, and the gray just kind of depletes how much this design could have stood out. At number 6, I have the Empress Tanya from Chaos Reigns. This one is definitely an improvement over the previous MK1 Tanya designs. It's just much more concise and doesn't try to do too much with the sun crown and complex hairstyles and armor. It still falls too much into being too royal, but I can excuse a lot of the issues I have since I do associate this Tanya design with being the only redeeming part of Chaos Reigns. This character. I can't really call her Tanya because it's just not Tanya, completely different character, but still, good character. At number 5, I have the default from MK1. Now, this is one of Mortal Kombat's most controversial design changes in history. Many people absolutely hate this version of Tanya for many different reasons, some more valid than others. If you're one of those people that think they race swapped Tanya to be black, get out. Just get out. If you think that they turned Tanya from Egyptian to African, which is something that True Underdog actually said, by the way, get out and also learn geography. But I can understand the people who don't like this one because of how different it is from the traditional Tanya. It's definitely much more generic in my opinion, and in an effort to make the character more defined and maybe unique, I think they made her design with the hair and the eyes a lot less striking than the way it was in previous games. But I have it relatively high because if you strip it down to the essentials, the actual clothes itself basically, I would see the original Tanya wearing this. It's just the hair and lack of white eyes or black markings that is an issue for me. And there are definitely ways to give her a black hairstyle without taking away that sort of silhouette and vibe the original hairstyle gave, as many people have created concepts for. At number 4, I have the default from MK4. This was a good first design for Tanya. If I remember correctly, she was a bit of a last-minute addition that replaced Katana in the game, so I can understand why her outfit is a bit basic, but still, they did a lot with a little. The black designs on the yellow background look really great with their sharpness, and even though she doesn't have the black markings or white eyes, I think that makes more sense for this version of her since people were supposed to be able to trust her, and showing her more human, beautiful features was just more logical. But once we knew who she was, there wasn't really any point to hold the story over what looked cooler, which was the white eyes. Speaking of which, the entire top 3 has the white eyes, so let's get into the bronze medal number 3, the Deception alternate. For whatever reason, Tanya's colors have always been so striking to me, compared to a character like Scorpion, whose yellow is often more subdued. Tanya's contrast between saturated yellow and pitch black has always been so eye-catching to me. This design is very similar to her MK4 one, just the top now goes all the way up to her neck like the MK2 designs, and she has the white eyes, making this design just that much better. And this design is also very underrated as well. I rarely hear anyone talking about it, and I don't really know why. Some of the other minor modernizations to the MK4 design I like are the hair being a bit more rugged and unkept, and the minor decal changes on the legs and arms. It all looks really great and a nice upgrade to MK4. As the runner-up, number 2, this was really hard, but I ended up going with the MKX playable Tanya design. Very rare does MKX do this well in my rankings, but what this design lacks in the saturated colors I was talking about earlier, it makes up for in just the design itself. The black markings and white eyes with these graphics look at their best here, and makes me wonder why Scorpion's white eyes don't look like this. But the top she has, combined with the pants and extra cloths, decals, and the arms and the legs, it's all really only let down by the colors a little bit, and even then, they're not as bad as it could have been. But I think this is also my favorite hairstyle for Tanya. It just has such a striking and sharp silhouette and look to it, and when it comes to a design that represents the character and shows the manipulative, low-life type, I think this might do it best out of all of them. But I think that with the number 1 spots, it's just a small bit better, and that's the Deception default. Mostly because of the color, but it's also a great design itself. This is the second best hairstyle Tanya has had, and the black on yellow looks great. And they adapt that skirt thing from MK4 very nicely here, and it's something that makes more sense to look at. I also really like the boots and how kind of thick they are compared to the usual skin-tight thigh-high look the female ninjas usually have, if they aren't just wearing pants. But yeah, that'll do it for Tanya Designs Ranked. This will probably be the last design ranking video for quite a bit since there are no more solo characters to cover, but I will eventually get to grouped character rankings, so the remaining male and female ninjas will be a video, and the Shokan. But let me know who you'd like to see next in the comments down below, and while you're down there, make sure to check out the links in the description to my merch store, Twitter, and Instagram. Also make sure to give this video a like to show your support, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to know when I next upload. And with that being said, that's it for this video, my fellow oddities. I'll see you next time.